Thank you so much for joining us. This is our last virtual open house for the Maine Business School for this month, and we'll hopefully be doing more. We will be doing more virtual events as we get into the spring semester. And before we get started here, I'm just going to turn things over to the Dean of the Maine Business School, Dr. Faye Gilbert. Take it away.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I guess I should start by saying congratulations. You're looking at options for college, and that is a wonderful thing to do. My name's Faye Gilbert. I am Dean of the Maine Business School. We have a short presentation, but we do hope to have this be interactive. Melanie Brooks is going to be somewhat of our MC for questions, and we'll be talking with the panelists and keeping up with some of the questions you're asking, as also Derek Francis does that, and everyone else will be introducing themselves as we get to that point in the presentation. But please don't hesitate to use the Q&A button and ask us if you have something on your mind. We'd like to make sure you get as many answers to your questions this evening as we can. And so what I want to do is share the screen and say good evening and welcome to the Maine Business School and to the University of Maine. We are located in the Donald P. Corbett building on the campus, but we're in Orono, Maine. We have about 1,200 undergraduate students, over 300 graduate students, and 29 to 30 full-time faculty from 6 different continents. Orono is within easy driving distance to a lot of wonderful places: Acadia National Park, Portland with a metro area, Sugarloaf for skiing, and Mount Katahdin for climbing, and part of the Appalachian Trail. Probably said that wrong. We provide aid, merit-based aid. 54% of the merit-based aid we provide goes to out-of-state students, and 47% goes to Maine residents. 10% of our students are student athletes. 98% of our students completed the spring semester despite having to pivot in March and change learning styles. 14% of our students go on to graduate programs. We were the first and now only one of 2 Certiport certification centers in the state. Our students have a class that enables them to become certified in Excel, at least to take the certification exam. We also have one of the highest CPA exam rates in the state and in New England. And we have 4 dedicated student advisors that help you make sure you stay on track to your degree. So they provide excellent advice to move you toward degree progression in a timely manner. Think 30, so that it's 4 years and you are graduating and perhaps on to that MBA. Our guides include mentors, talks with faculty on careers, as well as those advisors that keep you academically on track. Most of our classes are taught by full-time faculty, and we are AACSB accredited. That is a gold standard in business education. That means the quality of our programs are on par with any of the other AACSB accredited programs you find on the planet. We have high quality online options, a degree in management that you complete in its entirety online if you were to choose to do so, or you can mix and match online classes with in-person classes, even for spring and certainly for next fall. We love adventures. We like to work with our students to plan outings and adventures such as bear treks, going to Portland to visit Unum and WEX and Tyler Technologies. Our faculty lead study abroad trips. And Management 101, this next fall, we are planning a week or so before the fall term starts for students to come, should they so choose, and go on an adventure hiking and canoeing, and then to complete the 3 semester hour course in Management 101 on the business of outdoor adventures. Internships, our internship coordinator will be with us full-time January the 11th. We are mindful about professional networking and what that means in terms of starting careers and getting experiences. Honors College, first-year students are encouraged to apply, and Maine is one of the safest states in the nation to still have all of this to do and all the wonder of Maine around you. I'll now turn the presentation over to Jason Harkins to take us from here. You might be on mute, Jason, because I can't hear
I
you.
know. Yeah, it's inevitable. It only happened once today. My name is Jason Harkins. I'm the Associate Dean of the Maine Business School and Associate Professor in Entrepreneurship. So excited that you're here with us today and looking at and evaluating your career options. I think that that's phenomenal. One of the things to kind of carry on talking about, one of the things that we think makes us different is MBS has really leaned in toward a focus on technology, acknowledging that technological proficiency is going to be one of the key 21st century skills for you as you prepare for your careers. And so we have Excel certification, as Faye already mentioned, that is done, offered as an option and pursued as an option for every undergraduate student. But on top of that, we've built out pieces of technological proficiency throughout the curriculum, built around majors or specific courses. So in marketing, you might learn statistics software and accounting programs like Tableau. And in addition to those things, we also have a Bloomberg terminal in our capital markets training lab, which is really the gold standard for information used by investment professionals as they try and make decisions about what to do. This is used extensively by our student group, which I'll talk about in just a second, called Spiffy, but we also have finance students and non-finance students using it throughout the year. Faye's already talked a little bit about Beartrex, but we really believe in investing in the whole student within the Maine Business School. And so we have created enriched experiences like Experience Business Casually, where you get an opportunity to interact with business professionals in a more casual environment, learning key professional development skills like how to give a good handshake, what makes a great resume, what are the best ways to answer some of those prickly interview questions, as well as executive speaker series like Thriving Under 30 and other opportunities for you to develop as a professional in addition to the work that you're doing in your classes. So there are a bunch of ways to get involved. Spiffy, which I mentioned just a minute ago, runs the second largest entirely student-run investment fund in the United States and has students from all different majors across the Maine Business School that are engaged in learning about and actively managing an investment portfolio. We have the American Marketing Association, which has done a bunch of really unique and dynamic projects for businesses around the state of Maine and in the local community, working on solving some of those intractable marketing problems and really developing some professional marketing skills. We have an organization called Undiscovered Maine, which is a student group focused on helping the rest of the world discover the undiscovered parts of Maine by identifying and building out itineraries for visitors, identifying great restaurants to eat at, places to stay. And these are all through down east, out into the Western Mountains, up in northern Maine. And they're really incredible opportunities for students to get involved in doing things that make a real economic impact on Maine. And as you can see, there are a whole variety of other student organizations there, as well as hundreds of other student organizations across campus. So the time at the Maine Business School really is broken into kind of three, or your studies are broken into three broad categories. One is pursuing the general education requirements. We know that a liberal arts education makes a difference in terms of broadening the exposure that students have. And so the University of Maine, as a land-grant institution, pushes us and pushes you to really take a broad-based approach to your education. You will then take a series of core courses, which are standard across students, regardless of what major they're studying. And then you'll have major specific courses, which we will talk about as we share the majors here in just a few minutes. The in addition to the majors, we have opportunities for concentrations. So these are additional ways for you to identify and focus your studies as you pursue your degree. So you might be majoring in management, but then you could pursue a concentration in entrepreneurship or information systems or international business. All three of these concentrations are available to every major, and they're really a way for you to take an interest area and dive deeply into it without pursuing a second degree per se, but getting a really robust and well-rounded education specific to that interest area. So the opportunities as people are coming out the other side of their experience at the Maine Business School has us placing students in really incredible organizations certainly of great renown in the state of Maine, like Bangor Savings Bank, which is Maine's biggest local bank, or IDEX Labs, which is really a world-class veterinary sciences based organization based in Portland. But not only are students being placed in Maine organizations, they're also then going on to work at organizations that are national or international in scope, like Amazon and Disney and Wayfair and TD Bank. These are incredible organizations where students are finding themselves able to compete with graduates from across the country and around the globe. Maine Business School students are finding themselves well positioned to be able to go out and compete for those careers. And so now I'll turn it over to Dave Barrett, who is going to talk about the major in accounting.
Hi, folks. So I'm Dave Barrett. I'm a lecturer here at the Maine Business School. I've been here for 17 years. I began my career in public accounting before going back to get my degree and coming to teach. And the accounting program builds out the student, or creates a student who can has a number of choices in terms of where they want to take their career. You may have heard the phrase that accounting is the language of business, and that's very much true in that any sort of communication that people have about businesses within the business, it's usually including information that's coming from an accounting function, either from a budgetary process or creating financial statements, income statements, things along those lines. Our program has 5 required courses. So 2 courses in financial accounting, a course in cost accounting, a course in auditing, and a course in federal income taxation, which is kind of a standard array of courses that students interested in going into public accounting, getting their CPA. Those are the sorts of things that that's typical in that sort of a program. We then have a number of electives that students can choose one or more of that, as Associate Dean Harkins had said, allows students to kind of focus a little bit more in one direction or another. Those who are perhaps interested in heading into industry, working for a company in data analysis, in cost analysis, things along those lines, could take the advanced managerial accounting class. Students who might be interested in going into public accounting, into the audit function, and so on, would instead be taking the government and not-for-profit course. We typically place our students every year across the state at public accounting firms. So we always have great hits down in Portland. We have hits here in Bangor. We have alumni who go to work for the Big Four firms, either down in Portland or not in Portland, in Boston or in some other cities. And then we do have students who will go places like Bangor Savings Bank, the Cross Insurance, Tyler Tech, other places like that that are looking for people to work in the accounting function within the firm.
Hey, Dave.
Yes.
I have a question for you. If a student does not plan or want to get their CPA, will that make it harder for them to get a better job out of college?
Okay. The answer is a little bit yes, a little bit no. That you know, I'm a little bit biased because I came out of the CPA world. I'm a firm believer that no matter what you want to do, starting off your career as a CPA is the best place you could possibly start. Having said that, however, there is an alternative credential that is, rather than being focused on the CPA designation, it's a credential that is issued by the Institute of Management Accountants. It's called the Certified Management Accountant. I actually sat for that and earned the credential just last year, so that I could go through it and I could see what it was like to sit for that. And our curriculum is actually built up so that students who are interested in going that path, not going the public accounting route, will still have all the skills that they need in order to sit for and pass that CMA exam. And I was at I was going to say recently, but we haven't done anything live recently. So I guess last fall, I was at a conference sponsored by the IMA, and I kind of did this informal poll of all the people that I was networking with, and across the board they all swore up and down that their CMA designation was what got them the job that they had at that particular point. And so these were controllers and CFOs of small to mid-range businesses. So there are alternatives for people who think, oh God, I don't want to do taxes, or I don't want to do something along those lines. There is an alternative, and it's a very successful alternative, a useful alternative. So don't let not wanting to be your CPA, typical CPA person, don't let that dissuade you from pursuing an accounting major. There are great opportunities for accounting graduates, no matter what they decide they want to do.
And when he said we've done nothing live, he meant going to conferences.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
You know, we do have in-person classes and we have in-person experiences on campus and are intending to keep that going. But
I meant the world. The world hasn't done a whole lot of live things, but yes,
right.
Thank you, Dean Gilbert.
Mm-hmm.
Dean Gilbert, that actually brought up another question that was asked, and Brittany Hopkins answered in the chat, but I thought maybe you might be able to fill us in, or even any of the professors that are here. Someone wanted to know what the percentage of in-person learning is this semester, or if everyone is online. And Brittany answered that UMaine is offering a hybrid model of classes for our students this semester. So some were completely remote and some chose to come to Orono or had a mix of online and in-person courses. Dave, maybe you can share a little bit of experience of what your classes looked like this semester?
Yeah, sure. So I had two classes that I taught live. So I was in the classroom. We had good social distancing set up. One classroom was one of our classrooms in the business school in DP Corbett. And the class was a class of 28 students, and I was allowed to have 14 in the room at a time. So we kind of rotated students through. A couple of students decided that they wanted to go full remote. And so I was beaming everything via Zoom, and people were asking questions via Zoom, the ones who weren't in the classroom. I was also recording the lectures for students who had conflicts so that they could watch it after the fact. I also taught an intro level class that was a larger class. We were in one of the large stadium classrooms that allowed us to have 48 people in the class at a time, plus my TA, plus me, for the maximum 50 people in a gathering per the state mandate. And that was the same sort of thing that I set up a rotation, and some people who didn't want to come to class at all, just wanted to beam on in, they came out of the rotation. The folks who wanted to continue to attend live, they were in the rotation. And so that was 3 days a week, all the way through this through Thanksgiving. And so these last 2 weeks, tomorrow's our last day of class, I've been teaching completely via Zoom because the campus has gone completely remote. So it was a remarkably positive experience for the students who wanted to have that live opportunity. They were able to answer questions. We were able to have discussions to a certain extent. It wasn't normal, but it was pretty darn close to normal for those who really wanted to have that live classroom experience.
I think that many students had the opportunity campus-wide to have at least one or two in-person classes while others were online or remote. So that balance of opportunities for students to have choice and for faculty to have choice worked in the fall and is probably the same, a similar mixture of what we'll be looking at in the spring. That some classes will be in person, but limited with social distancing to a certain number within the classroom and a certain number within the building. But it does allow a college experience while some choose to Zoom. So we'll move to finance. Professor Agrawal.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. It's very nice that you took the time out of the day to come and meet virtually. My name is Pankaj Agrawal. There are 4 other faculty in the finance department. Each of them is a specialist in the area. There are basically 3 areas in finance: banking, corporate finance, and investments. And we offer courses in each of them, and we prepare the student for a specialized career in finance or for a role within a business organization. We are also having an increased emphasis on technology and analytics. And as you know, fintech is one of the really evolving sectors in the GDP of the United States. And I'm sure many of you have used PayPal. Many of you have used Vimeo and so many other things, and touchless credit cards and so many things. So we strive to prepare students for that. We subscribe to one of the gold standard databases that is from the Wharton School, which is at UPenn, if you know. It's called the Wharton Research Database. And our students have, they develop facility in reading and working with machine readable data sets. We also, as Dean Harkins and Dean Gilbert have mentioned, we have the capital market lab. We like to call it the capital markets because unlike many people, they think of finance as just the stock markets, but stock markets are only 1/9 of the capital markets. They include the currency markets, the bond markets, the real estate markets, the commodities markets, and of course, everything international. So we prepare students for all areas within finance, and we subscribe to the Bloomberg Terminal, which also, probably you know, if you've been to New York City, Mayor Bloomberg, he originated that company many years back. We have a very distinguished record of placing our students at some of the finest finance organizations within the state of Maine and even outside the state of Maine. If you go to LinkedIn, which probably some of you probably are, but maybe most of you don't have an account because Instagram and Snap is where it's happening, but LinkedIn would be good to have at some point. You can type in the name of any organization, let's say Camden National Bank, and you will see where most of the people are from. And so we have students placed at Katahdin Trust, Camden National, Bangor Savings Bank, Stone Coast Financial in Portland, Citibank, State Street Global, which probably most of you don't know is the world's largest financial institution. It's based in Boston because primarily it serves institutional clients, and Fidelity and many others. You can read about the faculty who are in the group by just Googling UMaine Business School faculty, and you can read about each one of us, including all the great things my colleagues here, Susan and Dave and Jason and everyone else are doing. What else you would like to know? We also like to do things that are not just curricular. So every year or every couple of years, we prepare teams that go and take part in national competitions or regional competitions. We are actually very happy to say that currently we are Maine State champions for the CFA International Research Challenge. And this year we are defending that title. We have 2 teams currently in the running, and it's a lot of self-motivated work by the students. In my recent MBA class, I had students from Raytheon, Bath Iron Works, Jackson Labs, MDs, and So we're very proud to be blessed by an extremely talented and a very deep bench that we have for our classes. I enjoy going to work, which is nowadays virtually, and but stay linked with my students. Actually, just last week, I got a LinkedIn request from a student of mine from 8 years back who created $1 million book at Oppenheimer, and then he worked for the New Jersey Transit, and now he wants to transition to law school. And so always be nice to your professors, because you never know when you want their recommendation, you know. And so it's actually one of my things to do over this weekend. And it's a privilege and a blessing to be involved in shaping shaping the careers and paths. I like to think of myself as just a light post, and you guys are driving on the interstate of life. And we are there for brief moments, but we do provide a little bit of light there.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Agrawal, and thank you. I didn't say thank you to Dave Barrett. And now to hear a little bit about management. Our area coordinator for management could not be here, so I believe that Jason Harkins will take on and describe the major in management.
Absolutely. So management as our major is the largest by virtue of the number of faculty and the number of courses that we offer that range in breadth from, you know, introduction to business to strategic management. But the major itself is really focused around helping students to develop the skills that are so important, that are the basis for management as a field, which is really planning, organizing, directing, and controlling the way that organizations move forward. And so we have built out core courses that are really focused on that kind of leadership and personnel piece in organizational behavior, human resource management, and then a course that is really focused on a kind of triple bottom line or a management of by sustainability called business and society. And then we have a whole broad set of electives. So unlike the accounting curriculum, which is very focused and oriented around preparing you and training you for the CPA or the CMA, management tends to be pretty broad. We have those 3 core courses, and then you would enroll in a selection of a whole series of electives. Those might look like small business management and entrepreneurship and new venture creation, which are 2 required courses in that entrepreneurship concentration itself, but also can be things like labor management relations, international management, alternative dispute resolution, and a whole variety of others. We have a really broad set. And so management is kind of a broad umbrella. Individuals who graduate from the management major can pursue really management style positions in a whole variety of organizations. They go on and are analysts or HR managers, but they also are information systems concentration is lumped into management. And so you might be a web developer or be doing some database management or other work with SAP. So as a field, we try and be very inclusive and give you the skills that you're going to need as you move from doing the technical work in an organization to managing yourself and managing others. I did see the question asked, do we have a sport management major at the Maine Business School? And I'm excited to say that we're on the path. We've made the recommendation. The business school is behind it. We've moved it through the university channels, and we're anticipating hearing about that very shortly. And we're excited to be able to offer it, because sport management will really represent kind of an interdisciplinary collaboration between each of the domains in the business school, with some management faculty involved, but also marketing faculty, as well as faculty from athletics and other partner organizations. So there are a whole variety of opportunities for us as we pursue that sport management and potentially outdoor industry management as a focus area.
Jason, I have a question. I have a question, if you wouldn't mind me interrupting.
Sure.
There is someone here that is interested in supply chain management and logistics, and they would like to know, would a major in management be appropriate for this interest?
Absolutely. So thanks for the question, Owen. I would say that definitely management would be appropriate for this area as an appropriate major, but our operations management course, which is where you would learn the core elements and planning functions of supply chain management and logistics, is actually part of our business core. So all students, regardless of major, will take that operations management course. And then I think what I would say is management would certainly be a good place to be. I know we have placed a couple of people at Amazon that were management majors or dual majors with management as one of their majors, with a kind of background in that supply chain and logistics piece. But you could certainly pursue that supply chain and logistics piece from other domains as well. You could pursue a marketing degree but really focus your energy and efforts around building up those skills. So it would certainly be appropriate to do that from management, but it is really a growing area of demand, and something that we recognize is really critically important.
And information systems is also key to that, and they seem to emphasize the information that you need through different parts of the supply chain as well. So, and looking for an internship, I would encourage internships in that field, or at least to look for the chance to get experience.
Right.
So go ahead.
Yeah, I think, well, I was just going to say, and I think last but certainly not least is Dr. Meerden, who is our marketing faculty member.
Am I unmuted? Yes. All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Susan Murden. I am an associate professor in marketing, and I'm also the discipline area coordinator in marketing. So like other disciplines that you've heard about in marketing, of course, our curriculum is going to sort of teach you about the core knowledge that you're going to need. But, you know, we really focus in the Maine Business School on, you know, your communication skills, how to effectively work in teams. These are really important in marketing and other disciplines. So with respect to marketing, it's certainly not all about selling things. It's part of it, but a lot of people sort of think marketing is all about sales, and it is, but it's a lot more than that. So in the Maine Business School, we ask you, make you, require you to take 4 core classes. And the first one being consumer behavior. And that's really all about the process that consumers go through in making purchases, for instance. So what motivates them, who influences them, how one situation is different than the next. So these are all really important things when designing a marketing program. Marketing research is the second class that we ask you to do. And simply put, research basically drives everything. Most of you will not end up in sort of traditional marketing research positions, but basically you use that information that you get from collecting data to make basically every decision. So it's really important, and we expose every student to that. Services marketing, which is my area of expertise, we ask you to take a class in that. So, you know, over 80% of our economy is dominated by services, and sort of how we market and develop services are different than how we market a tangible good. So how you market education, or, you know, hotel stays, or going to the museum or the theater is different than how you market an iPhone, for instance. So we spend an entire course talking about those differences. And not many schools actually include that as a core class, but we do. And I really do think that that's one of the ways that we set ourselves apart, one of the many ways that we set ourselves apart. And then finally, the fourth class is managerial marketing. And so this class allows you to sort of bring everything together that you've learned in the degree. So it gives you a chance to really apply the things that you've learned, understand how and why it all makes sense. And you take this generally as a senior, sort of your last semester here. And so like others have talked about in the MBS, we have a bunch of electives in marketing, and that allows you to tailor your degree depending on what you're interested in. So a very popular elective in marketing is sales. Many of our grads get their start in sales. So yes, you know, I said it wasn't all about sales. It's not, but it's a big part of where our grads start. Really good way to sort of learn how to, effectively interact with customers, showing you the importance of how to develop relationships. Digital marketing, huge growth area in marketing, obviously. So if that's something you're interested in, we offer a class in digital marketing. Dr. Harkins just mentioned the sport management, the potential sport management degree. So we will be offering sport marketing as a part of that degree if it's approved, and even if it's not approved, which we think it will be, hopefully, we'll offer that class in sport marketing. So, and we also offer other electives, right? So integrated marketing communication. So all that the fun communication stuff that you hear about, we offer an entire class in that. Retail management, international marketing, among others. So we require that you take one of those, but of course you can take more. And really it's all about tailoring that degree based on your interest, what you want to do when you graduate. It's been mentioned already, but I want to repeat it. Extracurriculars are sort of near and dear for me. And it was something, when I went through my undergrad and when I did my MBA, extracurriculars are what puts those extra lines on your resume. So we mentioned the American Marketing Association. Joining that club gives you a really great opportunity to apply some of the skills that you've learned directly to, businesses in the local area. Again, and incredibly good for your resume. And one thing that we haven't highlighted a ton is international study abroads. In my undergrad, many, many moons ago, I did 2 internships abroad, 2 full internships, one in England and one in the Netherlands. I did shorter stints. I did an academic exchange for an entire semester actually in Scotland as well. And I did others to France and another shorter one to England. So study abroads enable you to really talk about how you can adapt to sort of different environments. I studied and worked abroad, so that was it was amazing in interviews how I could sort of differentiate myself from my peers. So I really encourage doing some of those extra things. So last point, as Dr. Agrawal mentioned about his faculty, we have an amazing group of faculty in marketing with really diverse backgrounds and I think very interesting areas of research. So we'd absolutely love to see you in our classes. Thank you.
Thank you all. You did a great job. And so questions in the Q&A, and there are ways to find us and to contact us, mbs@maine.edu or 207-581-1968 to ask us questions. I'll stop sharing and see if Melanie has additional questions.
I do. Abigail wants to know at what year students are allowed to apply for and take part in internships.
We used to say between your junior and senior year. I think now, and Cindy may correct me if I'm wrong, but even at the end of the freshman year, students are thinking about non-credit bearing internship experiences. So they get an internship, it's not necessarily for college credit, but they find a place where they want to shadow or they want work experience. And then between the sophomore and junior year, it is not out of line to think of doing an internship for 3 semester hours credit. Am I right in that, Cindy?
Yes, I mean, yes.
Introduce yourself is what I was going to say, and then go ahead.
I am Cindy D'Angelo. I'm the director of our Undergraduate Academic Advising Center. And yes, by all means, we strongly encourage students between their sophomore and junior year to do a 3-credit internship, typically done over the summer, and then maybe do another one between your junior and senior year. This gives you exposure to different types of positions that you may want to do. And it adds to your resume to say, I worked here, I worked there. It gives you really good job opportunities post-graduation to have internships listed on your resume.
Thank you. Melanie?
Another question was about the average class size, and that's probably going to be different depending on the year that you're studying, and the classroom that you're in. So can someone talk a little bit about what the class sizes are at the Maine Business School?
They do vary quite a bit. Some classes are in the 20 to 30 student range. Some classes at the undergraduate level are 40 to 45. My guess is overall average for the Maine Business School undergraduate would be close to 40 to 45 for most classes. But then as you go up in your major, there will be classes that have 12 or 15, in some of those upper level electives. Is that what you're thinking, Cindy? Yeah, so we have had an increase in enrollment at the Maine Business School. People are enjoying business and they're looking for business and they fare well once they graduate. So our class sizes have increased over the last couple of years based on that influx of people that are looking for business opportunities. But it's still, we're small enough to get to know you personally. We are large enough to give you opportunities in student organizations that you might not find at places that don't have the faculty from 6 continents, the other students that you're going to meet and get to know, or the advisory board that comes in and works with us to provide those professional interactions that make a difference. So we'll know you here, but there are also there's enough, the size is big enough to let you have options for what you want to major in, student organizations you want to join, and different opportunities. Kudos to the American Marketing Association. They just set a goal and raised over $1,500 for our local food bank here in Orono. So I'm proud of the students. The MBS Corps also looks to make a difference in our communities and our world. And the students who get involved really find that it's the kind of work that they want to be known for to make a difference in their communities.
Wonderful. Someone did ask if there is an opportunity for a 5th year's master's degree program. How does that work at the Maine Business School?
The MBA is a 30 semester hour degree. So it is a 5th year. If you were to go summer, fall, spring, summer, then it is quite reasonable to complete the MBA within 1 year of obtaining your undergraduate degree. We are also working on so that you may be able to take 2 of the MBA courses in your final semester as a senior so that you could get started a little earlier. What am I missing, Jason?
I mean, that's it. We are building out accelerated MBA agreements. We have those across the system, and certainly where we have students that are motivated and know they want to pursue that master's degree, that is an option 100%. And we're always excited to get our students into the MBA program, moving to that next level of knowledge.
Thank you for that. There was a question that was typed in and Kylan did a great job answering it. The question was the difference between applying to UMaine as an undecided or applying to the Maine Business School, what the difference is. And this might be a really good opportunity to talk about when students declare their major and how that process works.
I'm going to hand it to Cindy D'Angelo in just a minute, but I want to brag on them first. I would encourage you to be a business undeclared student because the team in the advising office in the College of Business is great. They truly care. They know the rules. They're not going to tell you what to do. They're going to help you find the path that you want to be on. You don't have to declare a major really until your junior year. You have time to look around and to take some classes and to see what you're interested in. But I really trust the professional advisors in the Maine Business School and would encourage you to declare a major and then change it later, or to be business undecided. Did I miss anything, Cindy?
No, that is right. I would try to come into the business school. If you're unsure of the major, like Dean Gilbert said, just put undecided business. You will work with one of the professional advisors. We'll make sure that you're getting prerequisite work needed for your upper level business courses, as well as allowing you to explore. So we have students that are sometimes interested in doing a double major outside the business school. We can work with you with that. So there's many times I tell students, I'm like, we can fit this in. That's our job, is to try to get you into the program that you want, get the degrees, the minors, the majors that you want, and get it completed within a 4-year period. So that is our job, is to make sure that everything is sequenced correctly and that you have time to explore. So declaring a major in your junior year is fine. If you know it earlier than that, we can do that as well, but we'll keep track of that for you.
The accounting students tend to know a little earlier than their junior year, so that they can go forward. So that interest in accounting, you may want to come and talk with faculty or set up a Zoom meeting to talk with faculty, so that you can explore that option a little sooner. And another question in the chat is, what math courses do you have to take once in the business school?
Everybody is required to take 2 math classes for the Maine Business School. They take a course that's called Applied Mathematics for Business and Economics, or an Introduction to Calculus course. And all students are also required to take a statistics class. And you're going to find that it doesn't matter what major you are in at the University of Maine, everybody across campus is required to take 2 math courses. So that's fine. If somebody is in a calculus class in high school and is sitting for an AP exam, yes, we will take a Calculus 1 course as well to meet our math requirement.
Nice, thank you. Back
We have
to
a
you.
question about study abroad opportunities, and I know that the university on a whole has a study abroad program. Are there any opportunities specifically for Maine Business School students?
Yes, and I might kick that to Susan because I know that she may be leading one in the not too distant future.
Yeah, so as Melanie mentioned, we have university level international study abroads. Again, huge advocate for semester long, but some people are a little bit nervous about full semester long study abroads. And I get that. I don't actually get that because I'm a very big proponent of it, but I get it for other people. However, we in the Maine Business School have shorter study abroad opportunities. So as for instance, myself and Dr. Harkins were set to take a group of students to the UK. That wasn't the first time that we've gone with a group, but we were due to leave at the end of March of 2020. So that didn't work out very well, and we had to cancel at the last minute. There was another one scheduled for Sweden. There's been graduate level ones that have gone to all different areas of the earth, South Africa, different parts of Asia, Brazil is another example. So there's a lot of, and ours was set for 10 days. They go as long as 2 weeks. And so we were going to do ours over spring break. Others are offered in the May term after you finish your classes in May. So there's a lot of different, it's flexible, different opportunities, but you will earn 3 credits for doing it. So you're not sort of just going on a study abroad. There are deliverables associated with that. And again, back to the resume, it's a really fantastic line for the resume and good exposure for anyone without having to commit an entire semester abroad. Jason, I don't know if you want to add to that.
That was great, Susan.
Okay,
Thank you.
great.
There is someone joining us tonight who is a transfer student, and they are interested in knowing what core courses they need to take, and is there an average GPA for transfer students to have to come into the Maine Business School?
Great question, Cindy.
I work very closely with the incoming transfer students. As to what core courses you have to take, it depends on what you took at your other school. We work very closely with you, getting syllabi, if we have questions about a class, and try to use as many of your courses to meet requirements for our program. I am going to default to admissions as far as the GPA to get into the Maine Business School as a transfer student. But we're more than happy to talk. I talk to students even before they apply, all during the application process, and we are here to answer questions. That way you can make a very informed decision.
So in a general sense, I won't get them all right, but our core courses at the first and second year levels include accounting 1 and 2, economics 1 and 2, the statistics class, the applied math or calculus class. Principles of marketing is offered at that level, as well as principles of management, or is it organizational behavior, Jason?
That's principles of management, yeah. And then
Yes.
also we have our introduction to information systems happening as first couple of years, as well as introduction to business and our Excel course.
I can
So
speak to
those are
the,
kind of the core in business that you would be transferring in. That if they're first and second year courses, it's pretty much now we have articulation agreements with many of the community colleges, though not all yet, so that those first and second year courses just come in very easily. At the third year level, junior level, then Cindy, they have to look at syllabi and talk with faculty and see what can be done as to whether it comes in as a requirement or if it comes in as an elective. Derek, did I interrupt you?
oh, no, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay.
I just wanted to, Cindy had deferred to admissions for the GPA for transfers. I wanted to let the student know 2.0 minimum is what we're looking for a transfer GPA for students transferring into the any of the business school programs. And then also another requirement is that they meet the math requirements. And that can be done either in their high school courses or their college courses. So that fourth math that would fit for the Maine Business School.
And if I could just actually say one last thing about the transfer in, actually just today, I think it was, Dr. Harkins sent me a couple of syllabi and said, hey, Dave, are these classes the same classes that you teach for intermediate 1 and intermediate 2? And I looked at the syllabus and said, yep, and that was that. And so, you know, if you've already been taking your business classes somewhere else and they are the same sorts of classes, we're not going to make you take them again. I mean, you know, the content is the content. And so it's a pretty smooth process.
Thanks, everybody. We had another question, and I'm not sure if we know what the percentage of students that graduate and go on to find jobs in their major. We have, is there a number?
That's a great question. You know, within their major, the benefit of the business degree, the degree you're getting is a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration with a major in accounting, finance, management, or marketing, and concentrations in international business, information systems, or entrepreneurship, small business. So the degree itself has a core. All business students have a core set of classes that they take that includes classes in accounting, finance, management, marketing, information systems. And so it prepares students to, if they graduate in accounting, they can get a job in marketing. I mean, so it's not limiting. It's one of the major benefits of a business degree. Why get a business degree? Because it helps shape the path that you're on, but it doesn't limit you to any one specific area. It opens doors and lets you decide as you go what you're interested in. But by the time you're a senior, my advice to students is typically finish the degree. If you're in management and now you think you may want more in finance, that's great. Take as many electives in that area as possible. You don't necessarily have to change your major to have opportunities because you've got a core behind you in business. So I don't know what percentage of our students are getting jobs within their major once they leave here, but I love asking that question. We did just get a report on the alumni of the Maine Business School and where they went. And it was a long list of all kinds of companies all over the map, you know, financial institutions, nonprofit institutions, banks, retailers, major retailers, the service companies. They're finding their way in the world in careers that match their passions.
There's a group of students that go on to do a master's or even a doctorate after the program at the Maine Business School because we provide a very solid infrastructure in what can also be used as an academic stepping stone into a career in academics. So that is also an option there for students.
We had a question about AP classes, specifically AP Calculus, and Cindy answered this one for those that didn't see it. But she might be able to talk a little bit about the early college program for high school students.
Oh, great program.
We do participate in the early college program. I know that students, Maine students can take college level classes, I think at little to no cost to them. It gets you a step forward. We are going to be offering and allowing students to take our Management 101 Introduction to Business, which is a required course. Our Digital Technology Information class is another course that is also a required core course. Our Excel Fundamentals class that leads to Excel certification, so you could take that as a high school student as well. I have seen many students come through as incoming first-year students that have taken courses either through the University of Maine system, through community colleges, whether they be in-state and out-of-state. In order to have those credits transferred and show and count towards your career here at UMaine, you just need to contact the institution that the college that awarded the credit and coordinated with that high school and have them send an official transcript to UMaine. And then, you know, we can get those credits added to your transcript here and count towards your program.
Thank you, Cindy. We have a question about students that applied as early action. Can you go over some of the deadlines of when the applications are due and how long it typically takes for someone to hear if they've been accepted?
Derek.
Absolutely, yes. I was just typing the response. So yeah, so typically a student who is applying early action, we're letting students know it's going to take about 3 to 4 weeks to get a response back, a decision back based on when that moment that application is marked as complete. So we have the application, all the supporting documents. Now, certainly that could be sooner than that, but it does get pretty busy this time of year. As everyone wants to make sure everything is early action, understandably so. So you'll hear back first on your Main Street account, and so you want to make sure you are able to access that. If you can't, let someone at admissions know. I'll leave my email in the chat as well as the general email. We can certainly help you navigate that, and then we will send a physical letter out in the mail.
Thanks, Derek. We've had quite a few questions tonight about GPAs, both for the university and for the Maine Business School. Can you share a little bit of information on GPAs and how you use them to decide on accepted students? You're on mute, Derek.
There we go. I knew it happened at least once. So we at the University of Maine, I believe Brittany mentioned in the chat earlier, the average GPA for a UMaine student is about a 3.2 GPA now. But every program, we have over 100 programs at the University of Maine, so there's a range. So we really look at the student holistically. You're certainly more than only a GPA. We're looking at the types of courses you're taking, types of activities you're involved in. Those recommendation letters, are very important, especially in a year now where we're test optional. So, including your essays. So we're really looking at all of those things and evaluating your application that way.
Yeah, I'm so proud of our students. We have a Black Bear Pact, and from March until now, and certainly this fall, the students, faculty, and staff took great care to protect our community. So they kept social distancing, they wore their face coverings, they did not engage in risky behaviors, and the term went very well. We got to extend in-person experiences as well as campus experiences on our campus. It is a great community of students here, in my opinion, who look after each other, enjoy meeting each other and working with each other, but it's just a very friendly, relaxed environment.
I'd like to thank Derek and the admissions team for answering a lot of these questions in the Q&A behind the scenes. Ellie asked a question that I thought might be appropriate for other people to know. And Ellie wanted to know if SATs are recommended to apply to the business school. How is UMaine handling those sorts of standardized tests?
Derek?
We are totally 100% test optional. And we're understanding of, it's for many students, it has become absolutely just impossible to take, these standardized tests. And, again, we are taking a really close look at all those other components and looking at you holistically as a student. So certainly some people will say, well, I took the SAT or ACT and I did really well. Don't you want to see that? The answer is sure, absolutely. We can certainly take a look at that And if you, and I always, people ask me, well, what is a good score? And I think being test optional, we say, well, if you feel really good about it, you feel like you crushed that test, please, by all means, send it along or have it, sent through College Board or your guidance office or ACT, and we'll certainly take a look at that when we look at your application. But it won't hold up your application or decision or anything like that. But we certainly will take a look at it if you have that sent along. It won't affect you in any negative way, though. That's definitely important to stress.
Even for the MBA, we require the GMAT or years of experience, but we are moving toward test optional. We're not there yet for the MBA, but the university is influencing us, and it seems like the right thing to do to look more holistically at the applicants coming in and their experiences and internships and study abroad and enriched learning and the way they're applying analytics just, for the MBA. So, hope you come here and then stay here for that degree.
So just to
Great
follow
questions.
Great questions. Just to follow up on that one, Derek, someone had specifically asked if they self-report their ACT score, it is considered in their application.
If they self-report, I mean, when we're looking at test scores, we're looking at official test scores. So they can certainly self-report, but for us to include that as part of their application in an official capacity, it would need to be an official test score.
Thank you.
Not self-reported, yeah.
Will UMaine be doing any in-person tours of campus next semester?
I mean, we don't have any official word. Certainly, as soon as it's deemed safe and everyone has approved it, then certainly, we love it when students come and visit us, and I know our tour guides are definitely missing giving tours as well. So as soon as it becomes safe and is approved by everyone, we'll definitely make that happen.
That's great.
Yeah.
Someone was asking, do we extend our in-state tuition to Vermont for the Good Neighbor program?
I'm not aware of any such program. If anyone from admissions would like to chime in, if they know otherwise, I am not familiar with that specific program. I know we have the NEBI program in terms of students from across New England. And so there are certain programs. We have a fact sheet listed right on our website. Every state is a little bit different, but there's a whole host of programs from each state that are receive that NEBI reduced tuition rate too.
The flagship match is still, but I've also not heard of a Good Neighbor program.
No, I'm not yet. Yeah, flagship match is, we're still definitely doing that as well. And I know a lot of our out-of-state students are taking advantage of that, so.
Yeah, I just actually checked the website, and on the UMaine Flagship Award for first-year students, Vermont is in fact listed there. So assuming that the flagship program continues into the future, and I have no reason to imagine that it won't. So it's currently showing estimated, well, I don't know if that's award amount, so I don't know what that means particularly, but yes, it's Vermont students are included.
Yeah, absolutely, for the flagship, yes, absolutely, certainly.
So for people here who aren't aware of what that flagship match is, could somebody describe it for us?
Yeah, sure. So our flagship match program ranges from anywhere from a leadership award starting at about $7,000 and goes upwards of well over $20,000. And those are annual awards. So those are renewable for 4 years. Those are available to our out-of-state students. And it is a merit scholarship. So it is based on merit criteria. Again, going back to looking at a student holistically, we're looking at all elements of your application. For merit specifically, we are really looking at that, focusing on that GPA and course rigor. Programs, it's a little more, I feel like, a wider range there, but really for those specific merit scholarships, because there needs to be criteria for that to make it even and fair playing field. We are looking at the GPA and course rigor as a kind of the top piece for making those merit considerations. Yes, and we have a whole host of merit awards as well for our in-state students. And you can find what those ranges are right on go.umaine.edu. And because we are test optional, we're not quite as crystal clear on what those criteria are. But rest assured, if you have at least a 2.5 GPA, you are going to receive some sort of merit award through the admissions office.
And thank you to our panelists, a couple of whom have put some links in the chat. So if you want some more information, you can click right on those links. I think for the first time since 6:07, we don't have any questions in the Q&A. This has been wonderful. Thank you all for sending in your questions. It's so nice to be able to answer them. What else you got?
And please keep bringing the questions on. It's been I thank you, panelist. Do you have any last words, Jason? Have you thought of things? Well, is there something else you want to add as a closing thought?
I just want to reiterate what Faye said earlier, and I think it's really important is I think that UMaine is really in that sweet spot in terms of size. In the Maine Business School, we are big enough for you to pursue any one of 4 majors, hoping for that sport management major, 3 concentrations. We have study abroad trips, all dedicated and built within the Maine Business School, but not so big that you get lost. You won't be taking an 800-person, intro to business class with us. You'll be engaged and get to engage in the academic life of the unit. You'll get to know your faculty. You'll get to meet them in their office hours, and that's a pretty incredible thing to be able to be in that middle ground. So I think we are that is one of the big selling points for why the Maine Business School is, in addition to the faculty and all the other things that we've bragged about. I really think, thinking intentionally about the size of the institution where you want to go and what it is that you're hoping for from an access perspective is a really important piece of the decision you should make. And I think we've got it just right.
And if I'd have known that this was here, of course, I'd have been coming a long way to come up here at that point in time, but the hiking trails on campus and the hiking trails connected to campus and the number of things to do outdoors in an adventurous way is a lovely way to spend the 4 years on a campus getting to know your colleagues. So Cindy or Drs. Agarwal, Susan, Dave, Pank, y'all got any last thoughts?
I would actually like to share something with the incoming students. I would actually like to say that, please don't have that much anxiety that you would be locked into something in life, that you really have to make a choice today, and that choice will stick with you for the rest of your life. I mean, if you think about it, let's say life is this much, and if this part gets sort of in the mush, you're still left with this much. As Dean Fay said, we have an excellent advising group. One thing that I would like to also mention technically is you don't have to just major in finance. You can have finance and marketing. You can have finance and accounting. You can even go outside of the business school and do finance and economics. And so you can have dual concentrations. So just don't think that you're locked in. Many of us faculty, we have a master's in one program and then a doctorate in something else, or we worked for 10 years in some area and then worked somewhere else. So it's just, the important thing is to focus on what you like and just go with it.
And to enjoy the journey. I so agree with you. And even if you choose a different university, I hope we see you at the University of Maine. I do. But if you were to choose a different university and then decide, oh, I may need to rethink that choice, you can transfer into us and still have it come out just fine. Because I do think you'll find once you step on the campus and can step on the campus that it's home, that it feels good, whether you're looking for a large place or a small, you have different ways of doing it. Susan, Dave, or Cindy? You're good?
I was just going to say, if people have questions after this regarding the Maine Business School and our programs, please reach out to us. The Advising Center is open Monday through Friday. We'll answer the emails. We'll take phone calls. No question is too small. There are no stupid questions. So we will answer anything. We will track down an answer for you. So please feel free, if you have questions after this, to please contact us.
And then Derek, any last thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, to kind of go along with what Cindy said, if you have any questions whatsoever about the admissions process as well, we'd be happy to answer those questions for you too. And if you're not sure where to go, you can come to, I'm sure the Maine Business School will be able to point you in the right direction, or you can come to us at admissions and we can certainly help you out as well. I'm going to put my email, or the general email, I'm sorry, in the chat, as well as the admissions phone number. Give us a call anytime, Monday through Friday. We're open during normal business hours, and somebody will be here to help you out.
And
Thank you.
Melanie, do you have any last thoughts, comments?
We have no last questions, but what a great round of questions. I'm so glad that you asked them and that we were here to answer them for you. And again, I will also put the MBS email in the chat. Feel free to reach out, and we will continue to answer your questions until you're satisfied.
Good. I'm glad y'all are getting those there, because we'll probably wrap this up, but I would just say again, congratulations to you all for joining us for this virtual open house. You know, the more you can get a feel for the place you're going and the people who will be there and what it might be like, the better the transition will be for you to get to college and to have in-person experiences and remote, and the whole balance of the college experience that I think you will find here next fall, if that's what you're looking for. That we're here and we have been here for 150 years. The University of Maine and the faculty at the University of Maine have been meeting students where they are and guiding them where they'd like to go. We will continue to be here for another 150 years or more, and looking for how do we best partner with our students to look at the adventures that they need to experience so that they're ready for the next steps in their career. It is an honor to serve as dean here. I love this faculty and staff and the students who come here, and encourage you to engage us in questions and conversations that'll help you make a choice that's right for you.